Welcome to the Expert Edge. This is the show where we bring on experts in their fields of health and wellness practice and hear their stories and learn what they see working in the field of diabetes reversal and prevention. And I'm so happy to introduce today's guest, Dr. Jacqueline Gutierrez. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
It's great. Dr. Jacqueline is a board-certified doctor of natural medicine and a certified biofield tuning practitioner. She guides her clients toward radiant well-being through her virtual practice and store, the Wellness Trinity. Driven by a profound calling from God, Dr. Jacqueline is fervently dedicated to restoring her clients' energy and vitality, drawn from her personal journey that ignited a relentless pursuit to unravel the roots of holistic healing. Acknowledging the interconnections of mind, body, and spirit, Dr. Gutierrez approaches her clients holistically, unwaveringly seeking answers to intricate health challenges. Grounded in resilience and guided by a higher wisdom, she bears witness to what some might deem miracles on a regular basis. So I'm so glad to have you here. And I know some people haven't heard your story before. I'd really like you to start by sharing how you got started in your interest in this intersection of lifestyle and health.
So, first of all, my dad died when I was 9, and it just kind of sparked me down a road of like, I want to live life to the fullest. And at a young age, I respected life a lot more than I think my friends did, because I saw how precious it was and how fast you can lose it. And so, fast forward in my 20s, I kind of went down the wrong path and found Jesus at some point, and then I was like, okay, well, what's my purpose in life? And I went around the world trying to figure that one out, like literally traveled around the world, and discovered it was something with natural healing. I didn't quite know what I was doing at that point, but one step led to the next. Before that, I was in when I was in college, I had a personal training business, and so I already knew I was into holistic medicine of some sort. And then I was into nutrition after that. And then I kept diving deeper and wanted to know more and more, as most of us that go down this rabbit hole find themselves.
Yeah.
So I found detoxing, I found parasites, I started learning functional medicine labs, hair tissue mineral analysis. And then now I've been studying frequency medicine in the last couple of years too. So, basically, anything that could be a root cause of someone's health issue is what I've been trying to navigate in my over a decade of work in this field.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you're always looking to learn. And I think that as long as we are willing to learn, we can find out so many things as we listen to what other people have discovered, people's experiences. And today, I really wanted us to kind of dive into an aspect of diabetes, insulin resistance, and metabolism connected to an area that we probably don't talk about enough, and that is sleep. So let's just start by saying, why is sleep important when we want to understand our metabolism?
Well, if we don't sleep, we're not going to be able to rejuvenate the body. I mean, that's just as simple as that. So I think there's so much more that's happening in sleep than we even realize. Our body's not going to be able to recuperate. So first of all, in order to sleep, a lot of people have sleep challenges. We need certain nutrients like magnesium, calcium, tryptophan. Tryptophan builds serotonin, serotonin builds melatonin. And if we don't have some of these key nutrients, zinc is another one, that is also relaxing, then we're not going to be able to sleep properly. So I'm kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like, are we not sleeping enough and then we're draining those nutrients? Or are we already draining those nutrients? And then, because the thing is, if your body is stressed in any way, including not sleeping enough, you're going to drain more nutrients. So first of all, if somebody's stressed at all, physically, mentally, spiritually, etc., you need more nutrients. So if you're not sleeping, you're probably going to find that you are draining your nutrients more. So that's one part of it. When we sleep, I don't know if I could like break down the biochemistry as much, or like all the chemical reactions that you're probably thinking, as much as maybe you can or someone else. Um, but I do know that certain things will happen. If people wake up in the middle of the night around 3, like the wee hours in the morning, a lot of times there's parasites that are waking them up, or they have a sludgy liver. So parasites like to come out and they like to repopulate in the middle of the night. And that's why some people might wake up in the middle of the night. They might have itchy butt.
Mm,
We get real deep when we go into root cause medicine here, and that type of thing.
yeah.
But yeah, and then the liver, if the liver is backed up, like let's say someone hasn't really fully cleansed their body or they eat late, their liver could have issues. And so that could also keep them up at night as well, too. So,
That's interesting. Yeah. So I love how you're linking sleep and stress
mhm.
because we also probably don't think about the impact stress has on our metabolism. But when we lack sleep, we are also stressing our body, and stress ultimately raises our insulin resistance.
Mhm.
And that will make our pancreas work harder. It'll make it harder for us to manage our blood sugars. So, sleep and stress, that's one of the links that I think is really important for us to understand with metabolic issues. As you mentioned, some people really do have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, that sort of thing. What are some of the tips and tricks that you share with people to help them have better quality sleep?
So first of all, we really need to pay attention to EMFs. A lot of
Mm.
us are exposed to EMFs throughout the day. Well, first of all, we all are, but depending on if we're on our computer or phone, more or less,
And
or if we
EMF
have,
stands for those people that might not know the acronym,
oh
what
yeah,
is an EMF?
electromagnetic frequencies. So there's
Okay.
all these foreign frequencies in the environment, and it's not, it really disrupts our body all the way down to a cellular level.
Mm.
So if we are exposed to blue light, for example, before we go to bed, it's going to prevent melatonin from being able to be produced well in our brain, and that can actually keep people up at night. So I
Mhm.
would definitely shut off your devices at least an hour before bed. Wear blue blocking glasses at night. I like to wear them whenever I'm using my devices in general, because I
Mm.
find that it's just completely draining when you're not. My contacts actually have blue light blockers in it,
Oh, wow.
so yeah, yeah. Although I do think that the other side of it is you need sunlight. So I
Mhm.
think I almost slightly did myself a disservice because in the morning you should have sunlight in your eyes. And I don't have glasses at this point. One day I'll get some new glasses where I won't have to like worry about the contact situation. But in order to get good sleep, you should get sun in the day, and you should get it in your eyes
Mhm.
too. So
Mhm.
when you go outside and take a walk, um, get the sunlight in your eye, contrary to beliefs and that we should cover ourselves up and wear sunglasses and lather sunscreen on. That light during the day actually helps your melatonin production at night so you can sleep deeper.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's really important for people to understand. So it's not like blue light's bad. We just need to watch the timing of it. It sounds like it's great for waking us up in the morning and setting us up for a good night. But at bedtime, that's when we like an hour or an hour or two before bed. What do
I
you
would say at
recommend?
least an hour, but I mean, if you could, probably longer would be a better idea away from your
Okay.
devices. I know most of us are
So,
addicted to those.
and the blue light, we've talked about devices, so like phones, laptops, tablets. Are there any other sources of blue light we should be aware of?
Well, not, I don't know about the blue light, but Wi-Fi in general, you should turn your Wi-Fi
Okay.
off.
Okay.
So I had a client, for example, that we've gone down the rabbit hole of so many things. And granted, she's made a lot of good progress, but she still wasn't quite there with her energy. And for me, energy is a big thing that I deal with people. And so, of course, I wasn't happy about that. So I'm starting to go down the rabbit hole, and I realized she's sleeping in a bedroom with her Wi-Fi. Like, oh my gosh, how did I
Oh.
not know this the whole time? So she's literally putting these destructive frequencies near her. I mean, these
Mm.
type of frequencies can cause cancer, first of all, and that's just one thing.
Mhm.
Obviously, any type of metabolic issue, diabetes, people's blood sugar can get messed up because of these foreign frequencies. But you're also messing up your sleep patterns too when you're putting these foreign frequencies in the body as well. So definitely turn your Wi-Fi off at night
Okay.
if you can, or have it. I mean, ours is not even near our bedroom, and I still turn it off. So I would say put it far away if you can't, but it still is. if you can get your phone signal throughout your house somewhere else, it's still going to be going there.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
All righty. So paying attention then to decreasing as many of the things that interfere with sleep as possible. So we've talked about light interferes with sleep, Wi-Fi signals can interfere with sleep. And I think some of this is kind of cumulative, don't you? Like if you have 10 things going on versus two
Mhm.
things, what are some of
Yes.
the other
Yeah.
things that can help us with better sleep?
Well, detoxing the body, as I mentioned,
Okay.
if the liver is sludgy, which okay, so then you have to ask, well, why would that be the case?
Hmm.
So there are 86,000 plus chemicals in the environment, and these are foreign to our body. This is not what God made. And the thing is, we have this. I think of our liver like a bucket, and so if we just keep filling it up and filling it up and filling it up, it just overflows, and we can't handle it. So our liver should be able to handle a certain amount of toxins, but um, even if you're eating organic, even if you're eating a really healthy diet and you have expensive water filters like I do, and you're trying to do all the things, because of the types of modalities of testing I do, I can see very much on the spot that where these toxins are coming from and how fast people can get them. Even just, people think that, oh, you could just have like one alcoholic beverage and that's okay. I'm like, no, 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 that is toxic. So,
Yeah.
which that's another thing. I wouldn't drink alcohol before, but you're just gonna make your liver toxic, and that could be hard to sleep, long term too.
Yeah.
So,
And it's interesting you say that. I want people to hear that because a lot of people think that having a little bit of wine in the evening, something like that's going to relax you and help you sleep. But what you're telling me is it actually doesn't provide the kind of sleep that restores our health and restores our energy and can
no,
take
you're just
away
putting
from that,
sugar in your
right?
body.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I could talk about the things that can help you to sleep, that
Sure.
are
What
more
would be some
healthy.
of those?
So, okay, so on the nutrient perspective, most
Okay.
people are deficient in magnesium, and I think there's something called the magnesium burn rate that this. I don't know if he's considered a doctor, but PhD, I believe his name is Doctor or Morley Robbins. I don't think he's a doctor, but anyways, he wrote this book called Cure, and he's the magnesium guy, and he talks about the more stressed we are because of the magnesium burn rate, the more we're burning
Mm,
magnesium. So it's simple. If you are really stressed, you need more magnesium. If you can't sleep at night, most likely you do not have enough magnesium. And most people are deficient of it in general. So I would start there.
okay.
Some people need calcium too. I don't give calcium to everybody because I think that you can have too much calcium too, and that could be a problem.
Hmm.
So I like to do hair mineral analysis testing to decide whether I will give calcium. And then there's the cofactors that go along. A lot of these are bone nutrient type of minerals. So
Hmm.
zinc, calcium, magnesium, and anything that cofactors that go along with it, like silica. So silica holds the calcium in our bones. So nutrients. Um, when you get the toxins out, I usually recommend taking some type of binders, any type of greens. It depends on the type of toxins that people have, but greens can be
Yeah.
very detoxifying. So blue green algae, spirulinas, chlorella. I use blends of supplements. So those, in terms of detoxing, it's not necessarily like, oh, is you're just going to do it once at night. It's a process that I take people on, and I'm tracking everything and making sure their levels are going down. So that's not necessarily more of an immediate thing. But if someone needed more immediate support, the nutrients, tryptophan, I'll give people supplements with tryptophan or other types of glandulars that support their melatonin production. And I am a huge fan of CBD oil. I think that just some people could just use a couple of drops or even a dropper of it and find that they just sleep better. And this is not what I'm talking about, the THC stuff where you get high, like CBD oil,
Right.
the non psychoactive
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think people need to know that there's a difference. We're talking
yeah,
about CBD products without the THC, and that really has
hmm
a very different effect in our body than the ones with THC. So,
yeah. And it's
yeah.
adaptogen, so it helps your body to
Mhm.
relax. And balance itself. And it's also detoxifying too. CBD oil is so healthy for the body.
Interesting. And so, as like you're talking about people often needing more magnesium, What are some of the plant foods where they might be able to get magnesium if they need more? Are there any plant foods that are good sources of magnesium?
Greens. So
Greens.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah. So the chlorophyll plant, the chlorophyll is what makes
Hmm.
greens green. And the
Hmm.
center of the chlorophyll is magnesium. And the molecule of the chlorophyll is pretty much identical to our blood, except the middle of it is magnesium versus our blood is iron. So it's almost like doing a blood transfusion when you take in greens.
That's
It's
so
work.
true. So
Yeah.
true. It's so funny because my husband and I were just discussing at lunch today how when he was growing up, he did not care for vegetables. And as we started listing off the ones he didn't like to eat, all the ones he didn't like to eat were green. He was okay with some of the orange vegetables, yellow vegetables, red vegetables like tomatoes, but the greens he really never liked. He's doing much
Yeah.
better with that these days. But I think as Americans, many of us are not getting anywhere near the amount of greens that we need for health. And when you're already struggling with metabolism and blood
Mhm.
sugar management, you need extra. I'm just curious, what would you have people set as a goal for, like, maybe how many servings of greens a day as a baseline? Obviously, we can probably always increase, but what would be a minimum?
I mean, you could,
Ideas?
like, if you want to make this easy, you could think of eating something like a salad a day. Now, I
Okay.
changed the way I eat my vegetables every day, but I mean, that's an easy way to kind of think about it. You
Mm-hmm.
could also take in some type of green juice, like juicing
Yeah.
cucumbers or celery, or a powder. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times I'll put that in between people's meals. I find that it also stabilizes their blood sugar very well to have a green juice in between their meals, so they're not sitting there and wanting to pull out some candy or something else,
Mm-hmm.
because they're getting the nutrients that they need. And on the
Mm-hmm.
calcium magnesium note, on a hair tissue mineral analysis, there's a calcium to magnesium ratio, and when it's high or low, it's a reflection of the blood sugar.
Oh,
So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so not only do those have an effect on your sleep, it has an effect on your blood sugar.
Hmm. And that's really important because we don't talk about that a lot. But yet, these are things that need to be balanced in our body for us to enjoy the best health. Do you have any, like, herbs or botanicals that might help people to sleep besides the CBD, which you did mention?
I use a company called Food Research, and all
Okay.
their supplements, they're all food, like 100%, no extra fillers. Um, it literally is just food.
Hmm.
And when you compare it to other companies that are, say, they're just food, you'll start to learn there's loopholes where maybe it's just food around a synthetic, but this is actually all completely food. The magnesium from that company is phenomenal. It is incredible how it relaxes the body. Of course, you have to take enough too. So I do something called muscle testing where I'll get very bio individualized with people's protocols. Some
Hmm.
people will do fine with like two. I think more usually people need a little more than less. Some people need five at night before they go to bed. Some people I've seen even need more than that. So,
2 or 5 milligrams, grams? What are we
oh, I'm talking
talking
about
here?
the capsules. The
Capsules.
yeah, they're
Okay.
capsules.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. And I think that those are really important things for people. Like, take some notes here, and these are things that you might want to have checked out by either Dr. Gutierrez or somebody near you that knows how to measure these things that she's talking about, and see if there's anything there that you need balancing in that might improve the quality of your sleep. Because remember, as you improve the quality of your sleep, you are going to improve the way the rest of your body works. So I think this is such an important topic. What else would you want to share with someone around this topic so that they can really maximize the benefit that they get from their sleep? Let's talk a little bit about stress because that's so directly related, and stress can actually keep you awake, as well as the fact that staying awake gives you more stress. So, we have just a few minutes here. So, what are a few tips around stress? And as a Christian, how do you deal with stress?
Oh my goodness. Um, I think just first of all, just knowing that there's something greater than us that's kind of controlling the show. I got this tattooed on my wrist, I surrender, and there's a cross on the other side to remind myself that I'm not in control here. And
Yeah.
um, I think knowing that God loves you, first of all, and has a plan, and even when stuff is not working out, like according to what you would love it to be. Um, he always knows how to turn it around and make something good out of it. Can always help to get through those rough times. Um, I also think that usually before the breakthrough comes, there tends to be like this craziness. I find it's like I've seen a pattern over life. So every time I have some type of craziness in my life, I'm like, there's going to be an amazing breakthrough. And that's what gives me hope through those times too.
Mm.
Um, there's more physiological things that you can do to help calm your brain down as well in your body. I use a device sometimes too called the brain tap, and it
Oh,
actually helps
okay.
your brain waves.
Oh,
Are you
interesting.
aware of brain waves like delta, theta,
Yes.
alpha, gamma? Yeah. So when we sleep, we need to be more in a delta brainwave. Theta is like kind of like that dozing off
Hmm.
brainwave, where you're like half awake. So sometimes people might use a theta brainwave too, but delta is when you get into that really deep sleep. And I found that people might do all those physical things, but if their delta brainwave is still off, then they can still have a hard time sleeping. But once they kind of throw that in the mix too, they're sleeping more like they're a baby. So
So how do you modify or adjust your delta wave? Is it is
so
a
the
gadget you're
brainwave,
talking about, or what
yeah.
is it?
So this is an app, and then you can use the app with without this headset. So I actually have this headset that
Okay.
comes with it too, and it has light therapy that goes in your ears and in your eyes.
Hmm.
So the sound, it's sound therapy.
Okay.
There's some guided, like like someone talking sometimes
Hmm.
too, depending on what you're listening to. Some of them are just
Hmm.
sounds. Before sleep, I like to listen to the ones that are just sounds, so I'm not
Hmm.
distracted. And but you would use the programs that are more for sleep, because there's the opposite would be like an alpha or gamma brainwave,
Hmm.
and then you're more awake. And so
Hmm.
if I'm trying to wake up, I'll use it for something. I'll use programs that are for more awake type of brainwaves.
Oh,
Um,
that's so interesting because
mhm,
sound does have a direct effect on our
mhm.
brains.
Yeah,
We know that from many studies from decades ago with music, with different kinds of sounds, nature sounds, right? There are all these different frequencies in the music and they affect our brains in different ways. And so I think it's really interesting. I had not really heard of this instrument or machine or whatever before that you can kind of dial in the kind of wave you're needing for like good sleep.
yeah.
So
There's different
what's
things like that, but
mhm.
I've grown a liking to that type of technology. But yeah, there is.
Yeah, those are all, but I think these are all good ways for people to be thinking about like how can they improve their sleep. One other thing that I was thinking about that can be helpful for sleeping better at night is making sure you're moving during the day. Like making
Mhm.
sure you're getting like enough muscle work to build up some lactic acid and make you sleepier in the evening. If you just sit on the couch all day, your body might not feel like it's ready to sleep when it comes bedtime.
Mhm.
So, all of these things, as we learn more and more about sleep, I think we need to put into practice what we learn so that we can really enjoy these benefits. And for those of you that really like to dig deeper, I'd like to suggest a resource, and that's a book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And it's available as an audiobook, it's available on Amazon, not expensive, but it's a fascinating book which kind of pulls together some of the latest cutting edge research around the topic of sleep. So if that's something you want to learn more about, I want to encourage you to do that. And I also want to give Dr. Jacqueline a minute to tell you about her free gift. She has something she's going to offer to you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I created this detox checklist. It's not it's like 12 to 15 pages long, but it's not like super in depth like reading. It's a checklist. So there's a bunch of different links. If you are new to the whole holistic stuff, detoxing, what you'll find is that everything is toxic pretty much. So the question when you go down this rabbit hole is like, okay, well, how do you get non-toxic this and non-toxic that? And where do I
Mhm.
start on my detox journey in general? And so I have a whole bunch of links on there so that you're not lost when you're like, okay, well, I need a water filter, or I need to get a new bed because I realize my bed's
Mhm.
toxic, or
Mhm.
um, oh, you know what I really should put in, but I didn't put in there is cookware. Cookware can be really toxic too. So there's
Yeah.
less toxic cookware. So there's a whole bunch of links like that. I have skincare, I have dental stuff. I try to think of every single thing skin I said skincare.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great. I think that sounds like a really great resource because, like you mentioned, we're surrounded by toxins. We cannot avoid 100% of them. But the more we're aware, we can control the ones like in our home environment, what we've got in our food, what we have on our skin, in our bodies. And as we lower those levels of toxins, I think we're always going to be giving our bodies a break, giving our liver a break since it's our
Mhm.
major detox organ, and enjoying better health. So I think that's really valuable. You'll find the link to her free gift right in the description below this video, wherever you're watching it. So you might want to just go over there, click on that, and find out some ways that maybe you hadn't thought about that you can reduce the toxins in your environment, which will help you with your sleep and your metabolism, which of course is connected to your blood sugars and optimizing those. I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Jacqueline, for being with us here today. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your time with us.
Thank you too for having me.
It's been great. And everybody remember that health is wealth and it comes by choice, not by chance. Thank you for being here with us today.